Send me an angel. Oh. Yes, this is part of
it. Okay.
part of my mystique. Here we go.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. All right. Anyways, and this is part 3, by the way. I didn't even want to do a part 2.
But it was fun.
Let alone a part 1. I thought I could like literally cover this entire shindig in an episode because this is a very short Joe Rogan, Alex Jones episode. It was sub 3 hours, which is low for them. So I thought, yeah, no, their longest is like 6 hours, and they had to edit it because Jones multiple times, and I don't know why,
You need to like
had to go to the bathroom.
give people drugs to do.
Well, I think he was already on them.
No, but like they'll listen.
Not Joe, which is so weird that Joe, like for, I think in the 3 or 4.
I mean, maybe he was like slightly stoned.
Well, he may always be slightly stoned, even if he's like sober October. Which I also don't know why he has that voice, but it should be his accent.
Like, have this for dinner.
Hey man, we had the weeds for dinner, you know. There's so many people that aren't going to know what that's from, and they should, because that guy's
fucking legend.
The 3 episodes that he made is fucking amazing. Absolutely, I have to put that.
Your life will be changed.
I'll have to put that somewhere in the footnotes. But for Rogan in particular, yes, I honestly think that he's been sober every time he's had Joe on, which is
Wait, Joe has had Alex.
Sorry, which has had Alex on. Thank you. Which I think is telling. That Joe's like, there's no fucking way I can be high for this guy if he's gonna be on.
No, I feel like it might be like a respect thing because he thinks that he maybe needs to be.
No, like Joe's like literally one of the only people trying to save Jones's career and reputation.
Well, good for him.
True, yeah, good for him.
Slightly unfounded.
But you know, for for what Joe's done from episode 1 to $100 million Spotify contract right now, while he escaped to Austin, Texas, because he was in fear for his own life. Even though I know exactly what school his daughters went to.
Oh, weird. That's fucking creepy.
My ex taught there.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a different thing. But it sounds weird when you say it like that.
Yeah, I know exactly what locker room
I know where his
they were in.
daughters went to school.
Yeah.
It's super weird.
You know, so I thought I was going to start this off on a normal foot, and you have cut the ice hole out around me, and yeah, I'm drowning at this point. I also don't know actually where the fuck we left off, because I know that there was like a certain point of conflict and information and disinformation and inebriation. I know for certain that I was like, oh, did you know Joe Rogan left California in fear of his own life? And you yelled,
what a pussy.
Which is accurate, and no one has been able to answer that for me. But again,
well, I mean, that really wasn't a question.
Yeah. Now that you,
so if you're waiting for something, like you probably won't get it. Just saying.
I mean, for as much content about hypothetical, esoterical, spiritual, dimensional, metaphysical, drug-induced, psychedelic realms as he has put out, to say that in this world he's a pussy for leaving would be accurate, you know? And I'm sure, like, if he was in front of us right now and I was like, Joe, like, seriously, you left California because you thought somebody was going to climb your fence? And
I'm sure that wasn't, like, the reason.
That's what he said, though. And I take him at his word.
But that's, like, the extreme, like, a visual of white privilege.
I think, you know, I was arguing with Ian earlier, and I think that's the privilege of California in general. So many people have either left California or not come back to California, and they think of California as this state that is going to like defect to its own you know, it's going to disband from the United States.
You're likening California to white privilege. Like California equals white privilege.
No. So I told Ian this earlier. I don't think it's white privilege. I told Ian this earlier that I think like California in general is just a complete echo chamber of its own privilege. That you're either low class or you're celebrity, and there's no in between. Like Ian's like Ian was born and raised in San Fran and around that area, Bay Area. And so he was like, oh man, last time I went back, there's people shitting on the sidewalk. There's like,
dude, by the way, like quick side step, they have a fucking app in San Francisco.
They've had an app of where the shit is. Yeah, that's like a mental health app. If first of all, and I thought about this earlier in the conversation with my buddy Ian, is that if you are willing to shit on a public sidewalk, or you think that shitting on a public sidewalk is a good idea, or maybe you're so mentally checked out that shitting on a sidewalk is okay, you clearly have problems. I know people that will not fart in public. I know people that will not use public bathrooms, even if it was our house. If we had friends over, I know friends that would not use our restroom despite poopery, despite, whatever.
I'm okay with that.
Whatever. Yeah, the less people shitting in our house, the better. You're right.
They're on the Ancient Aliens track where they're like, I am on a higher level.
No, you overreached with that comment. There's anyone willing to shit, male or female, in public on a busy public street. Nelly, she wouldn't do that. Our pug wouldn't do that. They love shitting on concrete, but they don't like. But they don't like shitting on public concrete.
No, that's not true.
I think it's true.
We will walk them across the street, and as a car is approaching, it will stop in the middle of the street.
Yeah, but we live in fucking nowhere. They're not doing that in LA.
Here's the thing. I feel like it's not necessarily an indication of like mental soundness. Absolutely.
What are you talking about? I know some girls get drunk. They're like, I'm gonna pee behind this car. Oh my god, New Orleans. No chick is like, I'm gonna move my thong and shit on the sidewalk. Like, no one's doing that.
I mean, like, they're both one and the same. The only difference. The only difference in your stories is the change in the tone in your voice when you say, "I'm gonna move my thumb and shit on these streets." That's one. Two. Oh my god, I need to shit on the streets.
What chick do you know is like, I need to shit on the streets?
Necessity.
You went to the bathroom with a random chick in Catalina.
Yes.
Who we did not know.
Yep, she's my best
and you guys peed and took selfies. But if she was like, hey, real quick, can I shit? You'd be like, I'm going to go outside.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's not going to even be in public. It's not even going to be in private. There's no girl who's like, hey, you want to go to the powder room? And it's like, I'm gonna poop.
But then if you find yourself in that situation where girls are like,
there's no finding yourself in that situation. Like I've literally grown up, trained military, firefighters, police officers. I've trained dudes that like literally shit in the wild. That's their jam.
In front of your friends?
They would never shit in front of me.
I've had friends shit in front of me.
I don't know why this conversation 9 minutes in has taken this route. By the way, no, you do not know anyone who's shit in front of you.
Yeah.
No, you don't.
I will name one.
You don't. Okay, you have one hobo.
Starts with Tahoe.
This isn't a respectful individual. Is this the girl who got winded going upstairs?
Oh my god, no.
Okay, well there was like 8 girls that fucking night, so
Tahoe?
Yes. Wait, no, we were in Big Bear.
My 30th.
Tahoe?
We were in Tahoe.
Oh, your friend? No, you did. Oh, this is so different now. But you weren't in the room.
No, that's not, no.
You were literally having an affair with your best friend.
I'm not saying it happened in Tahoe. I'm saying the person in Tahoe is the one I'm talking about.
Yeah, but you or them or the two dudes involved. Didn't like kick open the door and just free float this.
Listen, you're not getting it. Okay.
Oh, please dial this back for me. Yes, go on. So what was the setting? Set the candles. Where are we?
I don't think this is relevant anymore.
Oh. It is so relevant.
It's not.
You said my pug, that beautiful, squishy face, flat face, fucking chub, shits in the middle of the street whenever she wants. And all of a sudden, you're linking this to a moment that we had in Tahoe?
No, I'm not linking it. That's where you're missing it. I'm not linking it to a moment in Tahoe.
Uh-huh.
I'm linking it to a person in Tahoe, so you get it.
Was the person you? Was the person you?
No.
Was the person the other girl?
Yes.
That's not fucking fair. That girl literally, was that before or after she went downstairs of a public casino?
Listen,
no one's going to know who the fuck we're talking about. Ground floor, and was willing to fight me in the middle of the fucking Pai Gow tables? Are we talking about the same chick?
Yes.
Hold on, just answer me real quick. Are we talking about the same chick? Are we talking about you or are we talking about her?
Her. What
okay.
The fuck, man?
That's not fucking rational. That's not rational. That's somebody who literally...
Worst roundabout ever.
Oh, we started off on such a bad foot.
Yeah, 15 minutes.
You're talking about a girl who once like ate cocaine.
No, stop.
And was like, I'm so high. No one knows her fucking name.
I don't care. It's not important.
Oh, it's so important. No, this is context, bro.
No, it's not.
This is context. Okay, well, you know what? I'm going to segue. This episode is now sponsored by Round Rock Vodka, which is what sponsored episode 2 or part 2 or whatever we're at with this.
Also, super smooth. You will love it.
Oh. It does have a lot to offer. You know, it's like gluten-free, but it's also literally 6 times distilled, which is honestly...
Like 3 times more than normal. I'm kidding. I have no idea.
It's literally 100 times more distilled than regular vodka. This is also probably one of the most sippable, shootable vodkas, shottable vodkas I've actually ever had. This is like straight from the bottle.
No, babe, no.
Just dial 9-1 and then we'll wait for the other shit. Nelly agrees. All right, the big girl's back. If you were here for the last episode, you understand that we have pugs, and our pugs like to make... Of course she's silent. Mother... Fucker, dude.
There she is.
Like a dying whale. She takes after her mom. Not as a whale... Or die. Okay. Well, I'm sleeping alone tonight. Yep. So, I don't know where we left off per se. Yeah. So, you know, the thing is there, like, I didn't think we were going to do a part 3, but we're here. There was literally like 10 minutes left of this fucking long ass episode, which I based my whole career off of. And, I thought it was going to be like, hey, man, I love you. Thanks for inviting me on the podcast. Oh, there's Tim Dillon. Oh, catch us at the comedy show. Here we go, man. And no, it was 10 minutes filled of absolute craziness. I do have to give some credit to Alex Jones at this point because I feel like him and Joe reached a new point in their relationship. And that point was... self-destruction and inebriation. I don't, you know, Alex Jones in my mind is the only guest of Rogan's who has taken the most bathroom breaks ever. Now, I am not fluent in cocaine, but I know when someone is leaving the party at multiple times. There's not a lot different from there. I don't know why Jones was trying to say I'm drinking apple juice, I'm drinking orange juice, I'm drinking tangerine juice, I'm drinking apricot juice. And multiple times like, oh, this isn't alcohol. And Joe's like, oh, I'm sober as shit, man. What do you want to talk about?
I don't think Joe is sober enough.
Well, you know, as far as Joe's sobriety, as a side note to all of this, by the way, I feel that if Joe goes an hour into communicating with another individual, his fat cells, I'm not saying he's fat either, but his fat cells in his liver break down.
Clarify, sir.
Yeah, they break down toxins and previous drug usage that ends up kind of bubbling to the surface and creating an inebriation of Jones that you wouldn't know right or wrong. Like we've watched, I mean, well, I think the last.
No, I'm pretty sure Jones was fucked up.
No, he wasn't sober October, but he was fucked up because this is what I'm trying to get at. What's so funny is like we've seen Joe Rogan stand up, and he's like, I ate an edible 20 minutes ago. And I'm, in my mind, I'm like, I wouldn't have known, which is cool for him, that like he's like literally Joe Rogan has been able to handle
he's functioning
a very high level of inebriation and literally get continuously popular off that. Where other people would be like, hey man, we need to have a talk. The first step is admitting you have a problem. And then Joe's like, like literally a company's like, we'll offer you $100 million to keep talking into a microphone. Sober or not sober. It's not in the contract. Because there's no reason like Joe would be like, okay, I'll do 10 episodes clean. You can piss test me. Because he can lie and piss test. Right. So anyways, it doesn't matter. Like he literally got Elon Musk high, and that is a dude who is actually trying to, hold on real quick, land a rocket up right on Mars, and then also say that no Earth laws exist on Mars, and we're not going to like enact or follow them.
I'm gonna stop you real quick.
Please stop me real quick.
Elon Musk is like the president, CEO, whatever the fuck he is of his company.
Yeah, Tesla. People died.
He's not the one doing the things that make the things function. So he's not in charge of that shit. He's just like
he could be the piggy bank.
He's the sign off. He's the PR guru. He's the PR monkey. Whatever the fuck you want to call him.
PR monkey's racist.
Like.
Well, here's the thing. I don't know as a side note, y'all. As a side note, I don't know if Musk actually intends on living.
Why do you think he keeps putting cars up in the sky? Of course he.
Oh, because he has money. It's like he's one of those. Thankfully,
what do for him? Nothing.
No. I understand. He like from a rich person's perspective and somebody who is no, definitely intellectually advanced and financially advanced and even scientifically advanced. That guy is really thought out of the box for a lot of these problems. I mean, there's no point. Like NASA's like, we should go back to the moon, friends. We take over the moon. And Musk is like, that's cool, but we're going to go to Mars.
We are the moon.
We are the Mars. But I don't know to this day if Elon intends on living on Mars. Is that dude gonna die on Mars? I have no idea. You say that, but you're fucking making the shit up. But
100%. I have no context.
No one has any goddamn context. I don't think his ex-April 3...
But he also doesn't give a shit about life here. That's not true. He does.
No, he's like 8 kids or something?
No, but he makes a contribution. I don't mean to say he doesn't
No, I don't think he does. No, I think he's totally self-involved.
No, but I mean
totally self-involved.
There's things he does. I know there are. Let me look it up.
No. I mean that dude is
because for real, that's not cool to say he doesn't do shit when he actually does. I think he does.
He attempted to build an underground freeway system for California and then just abandoned it because people didn't sign on to it or whatever. It doesn't matter. Like if that dude who has a literally.
I mean, his headshot is fucking weird.
God damn it. You gotta let me get in before you get in. I know. You're so, and you're literally 2 cosmos in, which is so fun because stars. So cool. But here's the deal: is that dude? That's what his accent. We thought his accent was like what, like USB drive?
I never listened to him.
Well, you should. But also, funny enough, is that dude basically has a very kind of like bedside doctor perspective of humanity. That like we are going to exist eventually in a neuro electrical temporal physical realm, and then we're going to go to Mars, and maybe the entire Martian trip is going to be like flash drives and USB drives and floppy disks from back in the day.
Fun fact.
Oh, jeez.
His current wife, they divorced in 2012 and got remarried in 2013.
Same chick?
Yep, did not know that.
So he divorced a girl and then remarried a girl?
Justine Wilson was his first wife. They married in 2000.
Justine Maxwell?
Justine.
Oh, man. Tim Dillon and Alex Jones would have loved that shit.
Got married in 2000, divorced in 2008. Then in 2010, he married Tallulah Riley.
Tallulah.
Yep. They divorced in 2013.
That sounds like a fun salsa.
You think like tabbouleh?
No. You guys want chips and guacamole? Yes, but also Tallulah.
Tabbouleh.
Tabbouleh?
Yeah. And then
it sounds like Fifth Element shit.
2013, they remarried, but then they got divorced in 2016.
Tallulah or?
Tallulah.
Okay. Whatever, man. I don't care. I don't give a shit. He can go to Mars. I'm not jealous. I don't know if I told you this ever in our relationship, and we've been dating.
They have a signature online.
7 years? We've been dating 7 years? But actually signed up for the 3-year psychology program, mostly out of Russia, for going to Mars. Of how can human beings handle long-term isolation in space? So long-term isolation on Earth is completely different than long-term isolation in space. Because on Earth, you think that at some point, maybe any point, someone will come talk to you. Like a ratatouille.
I mean, like, 2020 was a good practice year.
No, 2020 was not a good practice year.
I mean, for like the people that took it seriously.
This was an absolute shit show. There's no point that I would look at this as like a future endeavor or experiment upon human civilization. And juxtaposition, you and I know multiple people in Australia and New Zealand who literally spent like, what, 2 weeks? 2 weeks in shutdown and now are completely normal. And now you and I are literally spending tomorrow, Christmas, without our fucking parents. That's a huge difference. Anyway, so here, we're going to do this because we're 23 minutes in and we should do this. I didn't mean to do this twice, and I definitely didn't mean to do this 3 times. I have a point here in which the notes break at, from what I know, coming back into the situation 2 hours and I believe 52 minutes in, Alex Jones says verbatim, Jamie is better at searching the internet than I am, and I'm pretty good. And that's the end of the quote unquote. And I'm going to say none of that is true, not just for Jamie and no fault against him, but definitely not for Jones. That dude has to have an algorithm and a search function and an Alexa and an Apple Watch that is completely segmented and definite biased and definitely shoving that dude in a direction. I can't see it otherwise. At the 2 hour and 53 minute mark, which is just a couple seconds later, which is scary enough, is that Alex Jones is not a virologist. He's not a research virologist. He claims that 100% of the vaccine takers went into the hospital and then said some crazy shit from there. And that is so far from being accurate, so far from being true, absolutely is disinformation, absolutely is misinformation. A lot of that is coming from Russia, which we know to be true based on what our national security systems are saying, FBI, CIA, Pentagon, National Security, HHS, all that kind of stuff is saying. And it sucks because Bill Gates, for the last 10 years in particular, has attempted to create essentially a situation for better health and better worlds. If you look at what Bill Gates has said, in especially 10 years ago, which is that he made his money, he's the richest man on earth. He has a program that's number one. Steve Jobs is dead, so he has no competition. He's looking at the world as like, what is the world's biggest problem? It's water and it's hunger and it's sickness. And he literally sets out to essentially solve all of that. And somehow, not with even 5 years, it actually takes 8 to 7 to 8 to 9 to 10 years later, that he's nefariously associated to vaccines. There's a whole negative attempt to throw shade on him and his wife. And insofar as it's so far removed from reality, there's no proof. You can easily look it up. You can easily see the edited videos. You can easily take things out of context. And he is always willing to be interviewed and asked his new opinions and information. He doesn't make vaccines, by the way. Gates isn't making vaccines. He's making hardware for vaccines. He's funding research, which is different than him putting on a lab coat and going under a microscope and being like, oh, well, here's this. He doesn't do that. He's going like, how do we create vials? How do we create syringes? How do we create shipping and trafficking and airplanes to get this out there? How do we create a positive message towards this? He's never sitting behind a microscope trying to figure this out. Luckily to Bill Gates and all the Diet Cokes he drinks, he absolutely knows where his line in the sand is and all this shit. And so there are literally countries and U.S. security departments that have caught trying to pump information regarding vaccines. Then this has existed for at least the last decade, mostly out of Russia. Russia is playing a long game. Russia knows that we will easily win in a war of hand-to-hand, technology-to-technology combat. We have the most, even though they lost a lot of them, we have the most nukes, we have the most trajectory, with the fastest fighters, we know exactly how to get to them, implanted agents, all that kind of shit. But Russia's playing this systematic, long chess game of how do we get the U.S.
I mean, they're depending on weakness.
They're not depending on weakness. They're figuring out for the past decade, how can the United States deconstruct itself from the inside? How can the United States eat itself from the inside? That's not a weakness that anybody would have known was coming up. And so I'm going to talk about this in a second, which is the Steele dossier. The Steele dossier, where's this? So the Steele dossier, we get caught up in the heat of the moment that it's the pee-pee tape, right? So the Steele dossier gets created. It's a couple hundred pages long. It was, which is so fun.
I don't give a shit about the pee-pee tape.
I do give a shit about pee-pee tape. So what's fun is that
let him piss on the bed. I don't care.
What's fun is that the initial Steele dossier is given money, allowed to start, is asked to begin under a specific Republican representative. Under, I don't think a super PAC, but a leader.
In a very confusing way.
So the Steele dossier is associated to Clinton and Democrats, but it actually started over and from a Republican representative or leader of a super PAC who asked that this anti-Trump information be discovered. And when it was to a point, then he handed it over to a Democratic Party leader and eventually was kicked upstairs to the Clintons as she was running for presidency. Prior to that, it was actually Republican disinformation, Republican blackmail that was attempted to be garnered. And they hired this dude and quote unquote MI6 agent to create this document over dirt that he knew overseas for Trump. And that creates this Steele dossier. Christopher Steele, he ends up creating this write-up. There today is now the idea, potentiality, that the document that he created was basically misinformation from Russia. It was just created to cause conflict, or it was created out of actual real sources. Now, what's funny is you can go online right now.
Big difference.
Yeah, well, yes and no. Yes and no. I mean, like Russia will. Russia's not.
You're either serious and making a big conflict, or you're not. That's the difference.
Not if you're Russia. In Russia's mind, we don't care how you talk about us as long as you talk about us. If it's fucking you up.
So any press is good press.
Yes. Yeah, any press is good press. And so this dossier gets created, it gets put out there. People are starting to fact check this shit. I know Axios, Vice, and there's another quote unquote journalistic company that tries to take this apart. But even Stephen Colbert goes to Russia and he rents the actual room, supposedly, that Trump had rented, which is this room that Obama and Michelle had rented, which becomes the room that Trump decides to hire two hookers to piss in the bed. Now, if you go online and look for that video actually does exist. That it's like a 30-second video. The 30-second video of Trump with hookers in a room pissing, or a Trump lookalike in a room pissing. What Colbert did is when he reshot the video for fun on his episode and his show, someone has actually overlaid the room from the original Trump tape to the Colbert tape, and it literally matches up verbatim. The guy on the phone, I mean, one way or another looks like Trump. This is a lot for a foreign country to go through to try to create this one moment of, free fall, disgusting hookerness, But he's also, like Michael Cohen says, no, I've been with him in Vegas and we've gone to sex shows. And yes, there's been pissing. And yes, there's been hookers. And yes, there's Stormy Daniels. There's all these moments. Like he's ending his presidency now. And I know a lot of people are going to be upset by this, but he's ending his presidency now. But still, one of the lawsuits that hangs over his head is a rape allegation, of which the girl claiming rape actually has DNA and has subpoenaed his DNA. So, I mean, this is like, what do you want to go back to? Do you want to go back to the years of him with Jeffrey Epstein and Ivanka's in front of him? Do you want to go back to the years of him with Jeffrey Epstein and Ivanka's not there and he's at Mar-a-Lago? Do you want it? It's over 20 some odd rape or
I feel like we're going off topic from Alex Jones.
No, I feel like all this has to do with Alex Jones, but there's a lot of claims against this kind of stuff. The only reason I bring this up to go back to it is oh man, so weird, which is Russia and a mis or disinformation of vaccines. And they supposedly, according to our own security agencies, have been at this a while. It's crazy that we essentially do not have valid, anyone has valid, accurate, well-documented research allegations against Gates. That Gates is literally, he took the three problems of the world, right? He became the richest man in the world. His product was selling, Apple's dead. Jobs is dead, right? So he has no competition. And he looks at the world, and from what he says, he goes, "What are the biggest things? The biggest things are food, the biggest things are water, and the biggest things are disease."
I think the problem is like he shifted from like consumer like monopolization enterprise to philanthropist and humanitarian. And that's really hard for people to grasp when someone makes the shift from greedy to not. And if you want to be full circle, he's probably still greedy to some aspect because he does get tax breaks for those things that he does on a philanthropic adventure.
But he's already said, as has Warren. Shit. What's the stock guy? Oh God, come on, white guy. Warren Buffett. Warren Buffett has said that I will give what 80%, 90% of my wealth away.
They get tax breaks for that.
No, but he's dead at this point. He doesn't get a fucking tax break.
But kids get it.
He kicked out a daughter because she was in a documentary about how the elite operate.
Warren or Gates?
No, Buffett. Warren Buffett. Okay. One of his daughters was literally removed from wills and any corporate position.
But the point I'm trying to make is that like it's difficult for people to grasp the change in philosophy from such different ends of the spectrum. So of course there's going to be theories about Gates. Of course there's going to be theories about what he's doing and whether or not it's truly genuine or if there's a motive behind it. Because he always had a motive behind getting rich, getting to the point where he is, having the tax breaks, having the advantages, having the ability to be within the elite. And then all of a sudden he's going to be philanthropic.
Yes,
but that's the general layman's view of it, not understanding the A to B to C to D.
Well, especially in the conspiratorial realm of this kind of stuff.
Say that again.
Conspiratorial. It's absolute sclerosis all over again. Yeah. So you're getting me caught up on this, which is an accurate point. If you're going to come from a royalty perspective, like The Crown, which we're all watching and caught up in, that there's like a genealogical lineage of succession versus the ability to create wealth, right? So Think and Grow Rich becomes the antithesis of that information, right? That essentially that antithesis is that you have Henry Ford. Right. You have all these, late 1800, early 1900. Although Tesla's kicked to the. It's funny as we're talking about Elon Musk. the literal Tesla gets kicked to the fucking curb.
Tesla.
Yeah, and that guy has enough conspiracy theory wrapped around him. But you have this idea of Henry Ford, but also Napoleon Hill's the writer, and he's writing over. Oh, God damn it! What's his name? Carnegie Hall, right? So Carnegie buys up all the steel post the war, and that's how he creates his effort. Henry Ford literally fucks over America and Germany and everyone else in between because he doesn't know who's going to win. He just knows he's basically.
What are the odds?
Well, I mean, he had quite. Wasn't Edison, but Edison literally was a monster. But Henry Ford ends up creating this idea of manufacturing. Right? This mass production, easy ability. You have one job and you do that job and you hire 50 people to do the same job, different jobs.
Compartment and you're going to do
Compartmentalize, yeah. So Napoleon Hill, by the time he comes that again, and I fully agree with this, and I can put this on a different podcast, is that Napoleon Hill, in my mind, was a bet between Carnegie and Ford and some others who were severe, rich, elite white men of the time over could you teach a non lineage genetic person to create wealth. And I believe fully from what all of the things I've read is that Ford thought either you're born from it or you're not. And there's a line in the sand. And Carnegie was like, no, it doesn't matter if you're born from the stock or you're not born for the stock. You should be able to take an average person and teach them extreme wealth. Now, Carnegie only created significant wealth by saying what other wealthy people thought or said. That is a fact. Hill never had a product. And when Hill actually supposedly, this is the rumor, which is fun fact check, when Hill supposedly writes his book of Think and Grow Rich, Ford, who gets one of the original copies, is so pissed over the information provided, he essentially sues Hill, and he has to retract 90% of the layout of information of which he says, which Hill later writes this book called The Devil in Me, which supposedly is like later taken on to be this kind of Luciferian aspect of good and evil and this kind of situation.
Also, if you like title it something different, they're not going to read it.
Well, you know, the reason I'm bringing this up is in the very early on days, you leave this kind of industrial, mechanical advantage, real estate, you know, you have hard circumstances of profit. There is land you can touch. There is steel you can touch. There is a product you can touch. And Gates and Jobs create this kind of like, there's a program you can touch. There's this thing that allows you, this supercomputer compressed into a home computer, like Jobs says. We're gonna take this information bank and technology.
It's also really hard for people to like come to terms with the fact that like it's programmable.
Well, yeah, that programmers end up being the famous people. If you could create an app,
no,
right? If I create Candy Crush,
I mean,
I have $100 million product.
I mean, if I know the program, this universal program, the secret,
yeah,
that we're all talking about. If I know this secret, then I know how to get rich. I know how to succeed. I know the secrets of the world. It's very difficult for people to believe that. And the ones that do.
That's interesting. And I would agree with you because there's so many few people that came out of it. Like Elon Musk, he created an online market system. That's it. It's like Zappos. It's like, who's the dude in Wolf of Wall Street? No, not Leonardo DiCaprio. With shoes. Michael? Fucking Jonah. Jonah the whale. No, he the girls' shoes. He created women's shoes, and Wolf of Wall Street picked them up as a product. Are you fucking serious, man? How do we not know this, dude?
I'm just thinking of my abuelo.
These are in Cuba. You can't bring that shit up, dude.
Why not?
Michael Davies? What's the? Oh God, dude. Wolf. I have to look this up. It's so great. Wow, straight.
Big of a deal involved.
The moment I say it, you're like, oh yeah, that's fucking it, dude. Oh my God, it's a women's shoes company.
Michael Kors, that's the only Michael I know.
Well, so Zappos died recently, right? The creator of Zappos, that the Asian dude who created an online market system, which is what Musk created. Musk created an online buying system, right? He created eBay, right?
He did?
Am I wrong? No, am I wrong on that? Oh, Jesus Christ. Wolf of Wall Street shoes.
I rely on you to do the fact check.
Steve Madden.
Steve Madden is not Michael. Oh my God.
First of all, fuck you. Second of all, it has an M in it.
No, he was legit though.
Elon. No, dude, when we watched the documentary, that guy was fucking on point, dude. That guy was on point. But Jordan Belfort took that motherfucker for a ride. Elon Musk.
But he was like an innocent in that shit. Like,
no, he liked drugs, man. Wikipedia. He's an industrial.
To that level.
I also I almost want government to be in charge versus. No. No, I'm not gonna let you finish. No. It's fucking. Where's that motherfucker now, dude? Nowhere. Nowhere. Zip 2? What's his business career?
Alright, let's move on.
Just because you're wrong? All right, so god damn it. We got to correct this. All right, so Steve Madden, that's what I'm trying to say. Elon Musk created what? Nelly? God damn it, mama. eBay. He acquired eBay.
He acquired it.
1.5 billion and so created PayPal. That's what it was. Fucking created PayPal. God damn it. Yeah, first Bitcoin ever. That he's never lived in a reality. That's all we have to know. That's it. He's never done it. Anyways, so the Steele dossier, man, and so you can find this shit online, which is crazy. You can find actual stills. I thought it was bullshit for a while until we watched the documentary about the Steele dossier and everybody being like, no, dude, this is like a Russian playbook, but also the stills or pictures or partial video of the Steele dossier, which I don't think anyone looked at. Like Mueller wasn't going to put that in his report of like, oh, here's the actual tape, of Trump. Trump allowing hookers to piss on which is so funny that like as much crazy shit as Trump is into, his followers like, no, he wouldn't hire hookers to pee on a bed. He absolutely fucking would. What are you talking about? It's like he wears diapers. What are you fucking talking about?
That's elitism at its best. That's what that
is. Is it?
No, like look at all the shit that Trump has gone through in his life that he has not gotten fucking caught for.
That's way different.
You're gonna tell me his dad going, oh, I had my dad, he had pee on the bed. Oh my God.
No, his dad wasn't alive when he fucking had hookers pissed on a bed.
Okay, so what was that comment you just made?
It was a face made because you said, look at all the shit that he's done in his life, which is a lot. It's a lot of stuff. Again, he's literally ending his presidency. It's fucking 2020. It's 4 years.
You get a pardon. We're all getting pardoned.
Yeah, so, but it doesn't excuse the fact that he abused inaugural funds, that he misappropriated campaign finances, that he lied about his taxes and property, that he was in Deutsche Bank, and the two people in charge of his Deutsche Bank account have recently quit. He's offered, 40 pardons in the last 48 fucking hours? There is so much.
Listen.
What?
He is not looking for a pardon.
He's looking for all the pardons.
He
wants someone to pardon him with his face.
He gives zero fucks about what you think. Or what.
No, he doesn't even know who I am.
Or what anyone thinks. The fact of the matter is, whatever he's done, he's doing it for himself. And that's all it's going to be. So whether or not you approve, I approve, the country approves.
But there is no logical rational, sane, educational, well verified, fact checked, factual.
You're looking for something where there isn't anything to offer.
Right. He doesn't have anything. He doesn't have anything to say which is backed up by actual evidence or facts or education or
in between.
What's that? He's a queen.
In between. We can lump it up.
All right, man. Skipping ahead. This is all I want to say. As far as like the Gates vaccine stuff, this is man, it's so hard. And you and I know someone who tried to early on in like March, April, May tried to bow this misinformation, right? And didn't have a fucking leg to stand on. Everything that we fact checked him on, he was like, "Well, that's not true." Also, a Scientologist, so that should tell you what his background. Like, also since it's a Scientologist since birth, which is so hard. He's like raised in the church, but he's also like 10th generation, which is impossible because it was made in the 1950s. But when you have a billion-year contract, you can't debate these kinds of things. So anyways, Rush is playing the long game. Rush is playing the long game. CL Dossier is real or it's real bullshit. Either way, it's causing an issue. And to be honest, so Jesus Christ. There's enough information, there's enough accurate information about vaccinations. If we have to go over this right now at 52 minutes in, I just need you to know at this point, there is science that confirms science. And it's not biased science. The anti-vax science is so difficult to support and stand on. And that some of these major players in health and wellness and those types of realms are also selling their own products. Their entire, I don't know if you know this today, that they had an anti-vax, what the fuck is it called? Zoom meeting. And so it's like these major anti-vaxxers, like notorious anti-vaxxers, doctors, people of scientific interest. Yeah, so it got their entire meeting got leaked, and so their entire protocol and plan got leaked. And it's just like absolute bullshit to deal with this stuff. The Rogan podcast takes place a month ago prior to this conversation of 12/24/20. So this happens a while back. But please understand that everyone to this date has their own agenda. It doesn't matter what it is. They all have their own agenda. If you're like, oh, they're sheep and you're sheep and we're sheep, it's all fucking sheep. We're all doing the same shit. Okay? You're listening to somebody. I'm listening to somebody. My somebody went to college. Your somebody is some fucking dude from a comment section of Facebook.
We don't know that.
We do know that. And it doesn't matter. So, the thing is like at 2:56, I think Tim Jones makes this, that the Gates and the India vaccines, that misinformation is actually proclaimed out of Africa. It's nothing to do with India and has already been completely disproven multiple times. I don't have to go through that. If you're looking this stuff up, just look up the opposite. Keep your mind open because your fifth eye is, doing shit in your heart chakra and your sacral chakra and like whatever the fuck it is. What? I'm like a Buddha. If you're already willing to keep so many parts of you open to this open information and like reality and truth and like spiritual beings and angels are telling me this stuff, then you have to look up the opposite. I don't care if you want to believe it. I don't care. You have to look up the opposite information. I know how safe vaccines are. But if you say some crazy shit online, I'm willing to entertain it for a moment and look it up. And like, okay, where did that come from? What's the sources? What's it leading to? What's the end result? Vaccinations are the cure of disease. Like we want to end this. We want to literally wipe out polio. We want to literally wipe out HPV issues. So anti-vax, where are you going? What is this? The government control? We're putting chips and microchips, and also chips and guac sound dope right now. Anyway, so we're moving on. So it's crazy for me in the Bill Gates spectrum. I think this is a 2 hour and 57 mark into the Rogan podcast. That so many people hate Bill Gates, not because of his sexiness, as Jones says, but because people have attempted to undermine his efforts, which are literally the cure of the world of particular diseases, but also he literally has attempted for probably the past 5 years to turn shit into water. And all of that is open resource information. You can literally download the colleges that have been given grants and money to figure that shit out, literally. But that this dude has been trying to take waste and turn it into something that is able to be consumed by us in one way or another, whether it's energy or it's water or these kinds of situations, and people are like, no, I get it, also, but also he's trying to kill us.
The people making comments are like the people that are not in such dire need.
Educated, I get it.
No, that's true, but like they're so privileged that anything in that realm.
No, I don't think it's privileged. They're not sitting atop. It's not Elon Musk's son.
Do they have running water?
Who doesn't have running water?
Right, the people that are having to have shit.
But I mean, like also in LA, we don't have clean running water. Yes, yeah.
Like, so anyone else who has clean running water.
Yeah, you don't understand.
That's terrible, and they have no fucking clue.
This guy's taking shit and turning it into water. He's trying to kill us.
Like they think it's a fucking joke.
Yes.
I'm glad you laughed.
No.
It's not.
It's a hard point to agree with and also disagree with. I get it. Yes. Yeah. You and I are on the same fucking page for this. 2 hours and 59 minutes. The UN vaccine causes polio. This, by the way, has nothing to do with Gates said or what Jones claims Gates said prior to this. It's also just not true. So vaccines, there is almost no medication that we know of that does not have side effects of some sort. This can be on the administration aspect of like putting the shot in your arm. It could be fucking Advil. It can be cough syrup. It can be Imodium. Literally anything. Salt. The increased salt intake can have negative effects or results for certain folks. Increased hydration can have some negative effects. Literally, too much water can lead to electrolyte poisoning or imbalance and cause death. So yes, all medicines across the board, anything deemed a medicine across the board, anything deemed a product across the board typically comes with a side effect note or condition or warning. Absolutely. Again, almost all medicine has a side effect, just in the hypothetical sense of somebody being sued. All of this exists. 3 hours and 2 minutes in. I'm not scared of it anymore. There is now a way that Jones can read or research this much. He's talking about how much he can look up on a daily basis. This is akin to the vegan bastard that fucking argued Chris Kresser on the podcast with, what is it, Game Changers? The fucking dipshit. And there's no way you can ever research or learn and discern this much. It's amazing to me how many people are deciding like, we had so many hours and I learned so much. And fucking not true. I don't care. Especially if you're online, you're having to go through this point by point, website by website and discern this shit versus like going to a class, taking a certification, getting an education, going after a potential or partial degree. anything outside of that, you fuck all, dude. Like, what are you looking at? You're looking up YouTube videos. You're looking up JRE podcast clips. I also like for all the crazy shit going on at this point in this podcast. All of a sudden, Jones was like, "Man, I need a break. I'm going through so much crazy shit that I need to take a long time off. There are a million ways, as Rogan says, to get and stay healthy. But for Jones, he wipes all that off the board. It's not possible. It's not on my radar. If he has to go off the grid, he has to pull back. He has to dial it down. He won't be the same Jones. He won't have the same following. And so there's no point in doing it. I mean, he's been off.
Get that?
Well,
right? Like he's made a living doing what he's doing, and then all of a sudden he's going to change something that he feels probably contributed to his personality.
Yes.
And then, like, what if the people don't accept it? Like, I get that from a psychological perspective. I understand it. It's not accurate, but it's valid.
No, it's accurate. But
No, it's
you're
not
right.
accurate, but it's valid.
You're right. He's a dude that if he goes quiet for a moment, it's way too long, and people are going to leave him because they need to attach themselves to crazier shit. Right? He's so energetic. He's so wild. He brings up so many points. The frogs are gay. That they need that. These crazy fucks need that. And if he's not going to provide it, they're going to fucking find somebody else. So I don't understand how that dude can ever take a back step. Like I would, and I've offered, like I'm about to offer this. I will offer to train Jones. I will offer nutrition advice to him. I will take over as his nutritionist. I'll take over as his supplementation trainer, coach. I'll take over as his physical coach. I'd love to get that dude into a prime shape that he is able to sit down and have balanced conversations over the extreme wide variety of things that he knows and also doesn't know, but also thinks about.
But he made a comment about how stressed he is, like several times. So I feel like...
No, I feel like this is a dude for a lot of years has been like, they're trying to kill me.
No, I feel like he acknowledges... Jesus. I feel like he recognizes his stress and the level of stress that he's
What's
under.
his stress, though?
It doesn't matter. If he feels stress, he's got stress.
But he never had to put that on himself. He didn't need to create so much content. You drowned in it.
No. But as a coach, as a trainer, if there's stress, whether you perceive it as the coach or not, the person who is telling you I'm stressed is telling the truth.
Yes, to a point, but I have not been on this dude's famous level. Like I didn't realize till early this year. No, but hold on. I didn't realize till early this year that he is in one of my favorite movies, and which was made from one of my favorite books, A Scanner Darkly. I didn't realize that Richard Linklater, who I consider like a fucking absolute genius, right? Guys made literally 20-year-long movies. A Scanner Darkly. What's the one with Matthew McConaughey? That's what I like about them high school girls, man. I keep getting old, but they keep staying the same age.
Oh, I feel like that's
It's not Evans for Family.
I know it's not.
Shit. Oh my God! I mean, he's done incredible. Also, like, did a lot of Matthew McConaughey movies. A Scanner Darkly, though, one of my favorite Philip K. Dick novels, one of my favorite Richard Linklater movies, and Jones is in it. And when Jones is doing his scene, it makes perfect sense. But for him to be in this entire career, especially like I know Rogan's like, dude, 10% of the time you've been right, but 90% of the time you've been so fucking wrong. for him to do that, and be that person, it doesn't matter if he steps off. He attached himself to Trump. He didn't have to do that. It was a Stone thing.
Dude, Jones?
Jones, yeah. He didn't have to. He could have been the fringe dude.
Right.
He didn't have to attach himself to Trump. He didn't have to attach himself to these extreme conspiracy theories. Okay, but Jones in particular, who already had a history prior to Trump, probably a better history than Trump did prior to fucking running for president. Jones probably would have done better running for president, honestly, than Trump did. Because Trump didn't think he would make it. I think Jones would think he would make it.
It doesn't matter.
And for Joe, for as much support and backing and followers and hardcore fans as he has, to be like, man, dude, I trust you to a circumstance. And to go through this podcast in particular, in which he decides to fact check Jones as much as possible. Slow down a second. What'd you say? Say that again. We need to look that up. We need to fact check that. That's huge.
Only because he's been
whatever the reason is. It doesn't matter if that's because he got his contract with Spotify. It doesn't matter if Spotify was pissed. For that dude to do that his time, for Rogan to be this dude is like, I'm just a monkey and a comedian with a microphone. But also, like, I have this person on for 3 hours, and we're going to talk about these very outside of the box conversations. And I need to know you're right in order to support you. I'm not going to support your insanity. I need to support facts and information.
I think you're giving too much credit to Joe.
No, I'm not. I don't think so. I think that's right with Joe. But, you know, and I'm willing to train Jones on this healthier behavior, because he and I can be absolutely insane, but also be healthy. You know that for a fact. So these steps forward, I think, are important. And as a segue, again, Joe kind of offers this healthier path for him. You know, you can still be batshit crazy. You look up all your information, 500 hours of research a week, but also like eat a salad, motherfucker. You know, drink some water.
I don't think that's his problem.
There's no segue or computing on that fact. Look, if Jones or Rogan or Dylan ever do actually hear this, again, I will literally train or coach Jones for free. I will literally do that. Despite everything I have said and all the crazy shit, I will literally step aside of my own ego and help the motherfucker flat out. 3 hours and 7 minutes in, we can save LA. That was a really off the cuff comment, and no one
jumped. LA needs saving?
We need escape from LA, at least. 309, deplatform, censor, and to some extent, this has to exist for the safety of not just celebrities, but also people claiming to be celebrities, but also for general folks. The internet, for one reason or other, cannot band together to destroy an individual. And that is what has really taken place in the last 2 years, is whatever you want to call it, cancel culture, or QAnon, or whatever group you want to hide behind that's going to go after somebody and literally tear them down to the point that they have to leave their job. As an example that's poignant for right now, the girl who got the vaccine in the arm that passed out, because she had pain. That nurse has literal anti-vaxxers making Facebook memorial pages for her, but they've also found her family, herself, her coworkers, and have threatened violence against them to the point that she has decided to completely pull off from her job. Now, that's a nurse that we don't have on a COVID floor right now, especially who's vaccinated and a little bit safer. But that's somebody who had a very innocent, soft public reaction to something and has had to have massive consequences dealt to her from here on out. This entire idea that the fans and the fan group and the homies and the support system are going to band behind an ideal and then crush somebody is just an absolute insane aspect of internet social culture, societal culture that I just cannot understand. It used to be like someone in a comment section. It used to be somebody cyberbullying, but now it's like literally hundreds of people and a couple of those 100 people showing up at your actual front door, threatening your life because you said or didn't say something online. Now, I know like Joe's going through an entire thing that I could never understand of censorship with his major platforms of YouTube and Instagram and Twitter and Spotify. And some of these other people are going through similar situations. I have never been put in that, but I can understand how some of these dudes reach a point, some of these influences, some of these voices, some of these, even if they're fucking around, it's comedial. It's a joke. I made a joke. Like a Dave Chappelle, man.
If you're tone deaf,
I don't think it has to do with tone deaf.
Well, like there's so many things going on in the world. There's so many fucking things where different classes of people are so affected that it's difficult to find humor that's universal. Because
but dude,
not everybody is comfortable with that shit.
In the
And you can't just play it off like I'm a dumb comedian.
So give me a second. Well, right. I don't think that's right. I don't think trying to dial down your voice. Like that's like Jim Jones being like, I'm just a pastor. Like I don't think that's accurate.
No, he's not.
Right? Exactly. So here's the thing, right? Here's the thing. I'm as Connor Ober says from Bright Eyes, I found out today that I'm really no one. Okay? Like I love that lyric and I love that sentiment. Because for as famous as that motherfucker is too, right? For him to have that thought, it's almost like, oh shit, you're human, right? So for me in particular, you and I this year went through a situation with somebody that we thought was a friend say, if you're going to show up at this event, I need you to not be you. I need you to not fucking say these things. I need you to censor yourself. I need you to not fucking piss people off. I need you to not joke about things. Dude, seriously.
But that's also like, I mean, if we're playing the 2020 card, like
Joker.
Joker
up the sleeve.
I can see from a perspective where you're like, maybe something shouldn't happen. Maybe I'm uncomfortable with some of the things that you've said, but like...
Dude, we talked about this for months. That's not a real thing. You and I are never on that same page.
I'm like, I really can't fucking see how someone would be like, don't be yourself at a party. Like, I don't get that.
Dude, you and I, but also that person warns people about me before we show up. We're going to have Christmas afternoon with your dad and his lady, and at no point in the past 48, 72 hours have you been like, hey man, don't.
I just think you need to understand.
Dial it down. Water it down.
It's been almost 8 years.
Mute yourself.
They fucking get it.
Well, they don't get it. No one has to get me. I don't give a shit about that.
Okay.
It was so crazy. Like, I love Ian to death, but tonight he was like, I didn't realize you were like a Hunter S. Thompson. And I was like, no, if I get to a point, I'm the reincarnate of that motherfucker. No. Well, I agree. So I would love to agree. So that's a great compliment. Yes. God damn it. So, but here's the deal.
Should you be?
Because he's such a...
You're fucking original and you want to be him.
Yes, he is the last American cowboy. Like, literally, he's the last American cowboy. Oh, my. So what are you into? What are you into? Sylvia Plath? Oh, my God. We're dying every day.
I'm going to be an intellectual.
Yeah. What are you like Schitt's Creek? Moira.
Listen, that shit
It's not. It's not. It's a lot of eyebrows. For somebody who got made fun of their eyebrows growing up, I can't believe those motherfuckers won an Emmy. And I will say that to his face.
For what's going on with 2020 and the social movement and the way
social movement.
Okay,
no, it's a good. No, sorry. Go on. It's not a bad comment. Go on. Sorry.
It's fine.
Meow, meow.
We're done.
All right, we are done. I love you. I love you so much. Stupid bastard.
Keep it going.
This could be the last podcast of our lives. Do you have anything to say?
Wilson.
We don't see. Look at these awesome. Can one of you guys come here? Come here real quick. Come here. Come on. Say hi to the people. We did this last time. Say hi to the people. Come here.
No, they're fine.
No, they're fine. Do you have any closing arguments for at least just so if we
that you'll let me make? Because it seems like if it doesn't agree with what you want it to be, it's not done.
You're not wrong. No, sorry. No, I don't care.
Fucking right, you
Disagree
guys.
with me. I don't give a shit. Disagree with me. You're blonde. You're uneducated. I don't give a shit.
Fuck you.
It's it.
First of all,
You're such a fucking buzzy.
no, that's fucked up.
It's not fucked up. It's a joke.
No.
You're not even really blonde. You're a natural redhead. But I mean, natural.
Fuck you again. There's no fire crotch anywhere.
Ain't no one like no fires in this crotch. Come here, you trash can. Come on. Looks like a goddamn Elmo.
Oh my god.
Look at this son of a bitch. That's the best moment of the whole thing. Do it. Do it again.
Get some ASMR.
We're gonna do it. Here, come inside. Say goodnight. MICKEY.
Peace out, bitches.
MOUS. Mazel tov. Good night. Happy 2020. Let's all live through another year. Love you guys. Thanks for listening.